I guess I'll figure out how to. I'll just post this as a separate part to my last journal. This is the same journal. My phone had overheated, so. Anyways, welcome to Texas. So as I was saying, I trust my hypothetical viewers because, I mean, regardless, yeah, I trust my hypothetical viewers, but again, things that I'm scared to say, things that I'm not sure that I can easily see, and I am going to say things that are going to put me in perceived, that I believe may attract unwanted attention. But that's so self-aggrandizing because I'm possibly a bit delusional. Is it better to be safe than sorry? Probably. Anyways. I guess it would help to refine my thoughts. So, I don't think I'll be speaking on this of yet. Focus is so important. And as somebody who struggles with ADD, focus is in short supply. Up until now. As of yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before. But recently, thanks to my employment at this company, I now have health insurance, vision insurance, dental insurance, 401k, life insurance, short-term disability. In some other countries, these are not things that you must depend upon an employer to provide you. Something that I felt was an important observation. Not a very new or groundbreaking one. This is something that I think most people are aware of on some level or can easily grasp. But it felt more momentous in my head when I came to this conclusion. For example, whenever I have the knee-jerk reaction to say something like, oh, well, I could have done that, in order to be dismissive or trivialize somebody else's actions. Well, that's true. I could have probably done whatever that thing is, but I didn't. Because it's not about who could, it's about who does. So in the context of, say, social mobility, which is a term I learned in school, which, as far as I'm aware, means the ability to move between socioeconomic classes. So, for example, from being a working class person to being a wealthy person, an upper class person. The majority of Americans, I believe, are working class. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's true. Working to middle class. And many, many, many people, many Americans. Not that America is the whole world, it is not. But that's where I am, so. But many Americans lack the resources, the circumstances, or any other thing that's necessary to realistically become socially mobile, to make progress upwards in the socioeconomic ladder. But I think that there's also many, including myself, who do have those means and who maybe take comfort in deluding themselves into believing that their situation is more hopeless or more fixed than it really is, because the alternative is hard. And I think of action potential, such as in chemistry, and how people are in some ways similar in their behavior to substances in a chemical reaction, particles, molecules. So, for example, and this does, finally, I found the connection to what I was speaking about earlier, want and wanting to want, and where does want originate from? Is it wholly the sum of its parts? You know, I want X in order to do Y because another want? Or is want and the emergence of want in one's life greater than the sum of its parts? Is there some other X factor, unknown factor, that we are not cognizant of? But yeah, so before I forget, the connection to that and social mobility is, and action potential, is when you do something. When, say for example, that I wake up tomorrow and suddenly I decide, you know what, I am going to go and divert all of my spare resources into creating a small business for myself, which I will grow until I'm able to until I am able to move upward in my socioeconomic status and achieve a wealthier lifestyle, I guess. That's not a great way to put it, but it'll have to do for now. Say that happens. Can I truly take the credit for that? Or would it be simply my reaction to a certain set of circumstances, to the conditions of the experiment, using the chemistry analogy? So, like, say if I take water and potassium and I place them in some sort of container, they react and form a explosion. I think that water and potassium make an explosion. From the videos I've seen of people hurling chunks of potassium into ponds. In that case, you couldn't say that the potassium or the water, well, yeah, in some sense, they couldn't take credit for that reaction, the water or the potassium, because the water, the chemicals were placed there. The reaction was, the reaction in this case would have been solely attributed to the experimenter, the scientist in this case. So what I wonder is, in day-to-day life, are we the scientists? Or are we the chemicals in the reaction? When I decide to want something, or to be driven towards a want, and to put in the time and the effort to achieve the desired goal, is that my goal originally? Did the want or the desire or the purpose truly originate and emerge from my own brain? And if it did, even, does that make it mine? Or was I manipulated, maybe not by a person or a group of people, at least not consciously on their part, but by some sort of system that I exist in, or something greater than myself? And this is a question that could be answered spiritually or religiously, but I don't think that those are the only realms necessarily where I think that a more, I want to say more true, but I don't know, but still, I think that there exists an answer in the realm of sociology. Anyways, I want to clarify what I desire to myself. I want to spring clean my own goals, wants, desires, purpose, what have you, and get rid of all the I want to be more efficient. I want to be left with only those things that I truly want so that I can focus my efforts towards achieving them. I guess I'll do this through video journals, through writing, reading, creative expression, regimen and routine, organization. As I said before, organization is one of the most powerful tools that you can utilize in your own life. I want to declutter my intentions. That's what I'm trying to say, I think. And I'm so glad I even managed to say that. That just that made this lunch break worth it for sure. Declutter my intentions. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna write that down right now before I decide not to. And that's the thing too. Say I decided not to, that I sat on it, until I forgot. Would that mean that I didn't want to, in this case, write down this pithy phrase that I find to be close to my true core desires? Or would it be attributed solely to the circumstance? Like, oh, I forgot because I was distracted by this or that. So I still wanted to do this thing, but because of the circumstance, the situation, I didn't. Or would it then be proof that I didn't truly want to do this thing in the first place? I'm not sure well, and I want to not continue elaborating because I'm tired, because of my mental fog. Suppression of the self. I guess what I'm saying is, in a vacuum, who are we? And why aren't we true to ourselves on the most big picture level, I guess? I feel like I have only one key, or that I'm fortunate enough through extended mental effort to acquire a single key, but that many, many keys are needed in order to unlock the full truth. Anyways, what a sad phrase. No, not necessarily. Just I wish we weren't, I don't know. There is a great dissatisfaction, but I can't clarify it. Well, and it's the language. You see, if I tell myself I can't clarify it, then I start to believe that. Not that that's necessarily true. But at the moment, I feel that I will not be clarifying that great dissatisfaction. I think that there is a lot more information and a lot more information processing needed to get the full picture. But to get just enough of a picture of where that great dissatisfaction comes from, I think that might be a bit more achievable, accessible, communicable. I carry a small pocket journal with me wherever I go. I try to write in it. Good enough serves me much better than perfection. I try to separate impulse from true desire, pleasure from happiness. And I encourage you all to do the same. I need to remember that I am a fool. I need to remember that I am a fool. Balance is extremely important. I want to say unfortunately. I wish that we had a world of pure goodness. But as reluctant as I am to admit it, as much as much of me screams to deny it, I'm not sure that any pure extreme is truly good. Okay. That's all for now. What do I do with the well-lived life? Goodbye.